Welcome to Quad Radio as we roll through another week here in the ATV Racing Nation. I'm Rodney Tomlin, joined today by none other than Ohio Motocross National Maestro, Mr. Jeremy Red Osborn, on tap with us today. And I definitely want to say thanks to him, as there's a lot of big things getting ready to roll there. And one of those coming up this coming weekend, as a matter of fact, and that is the big Ohio Crew Quad Fest, I guess is what it's being called, or the Ohio Crew Fest, but whatever it is, it's a Quad Fest, and it's all taking place at the Briarcliff MX Park. And Jeremy, we welcome you to the show and say thanks once again for rolling out the red carpet, which I believe this is the second Ohio Fest, if I'm not mistaken, and the first Ohio National coming up in, literally just weeks away.
Yeah, that's right. It is the second annual Ohio Crew Fest. It's an ATV only weekend. It gives everybody the opportunity to come out and test the track, try it out, get ready for the Built Ford Tough ATV National coming here in June. It's a special deal. I think we did it for Ohio, but I think we're going to get a lot of people from outside of Ohio coming in and checking the place out and just trying to get their feet wet with the Briarcliff experience.
There you go. And I hear it's a pretty good experience from what I'm seeing. There's it says trails will be open, as well as the practice session that's going to be taking place. And it seems like it's going to be all inclusive for the family, basically, to me.
Yeah, people will be able to come in. They'll be able to, mom and dad be able to camp for the weekend, bring the kids, watch them. They'll get everybody. There'll be sessions on the big track. No reason not to come. We've got, not a luscious trail system, but we got 3 miles of trails. There's really something for everybody here. That's kind of what we built it on.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. Tell me a little bit about the Briarcliff facility. It's something that I've been hearing quite a bit about over the course of the last little bit. Myself being from Ohio and Quad Radio being stationed from out of there, Jeremy, I unfortunately have not had an opportunity to make it to where you are, but I hear a lot about you. I know that you guys have done some OMA, which is some, Ohio Motocross Association stuff. You're doing an area qualifier, I believe, coming up this weekend, or in a couple weeks. Anyway, a local race coming up this weekend as well. A lot of things going on for you as far as the Briarcliff is concerned. Tell me a little bit about it and what the facility's like and things of that nature.
Well, Briarcliff really started as it was supposed to be my personal practice track to get ready for national races and different things I wanted to do, and I kept getting more help and more people wanted to help, and more people were liking what I was building, and we just kind of opened it up about 10 years ago, and now we just kept building and kept inching our way forward. And last year, I believe it was last year, it would be at the end of the previous year, Jason Rogers from Malvern got with me, and we created Ohio Motocross Association, or OMA. And it's pretty much what that's all about. It's basically kind of like a District 11 on its own. We kind of use the District X motto. We just kind of do our own thing. We don't need people to tell us what to do. We're just we want good motocross, whether it's bikes or ATVs or whatever. Motocross is motocross. So
there you go, and
that's what we're about.
That's exactly it. And I want to talk a little bit more about the facility, but you opened up a can of worms there whenever you said a practice track for myself. I want people to know exactly who you are and what kind of practice facility you were building for yourself. And, you said, I guess for the Nationals, you were practicing for the Nationals.
When we first built the first track, we actually, we used to joke about the circular driveway, because people would pull in and they'd be so blown away by how big the jumps were, and they'd turn around and leave. And we built a C track, or another track, which is by most standards kind of like a normal motocross track here in Ohio. And it just kind of grew from there. It's not nearly as jumpy as it used to be. I've changed it down quite a bit. Most of it's tabletops. We got a few decent-sized hucks, maybe 90, 9,500 foot. couple little rhythm sections, a little bit of elevation change. It's nothing like, High Point or Steel City, but it's got a moderate amount of elevation change. But the dirt, that's where we shine. Our dirt, second to none. There is nobody with better dirt. I guarantee it. Wow.
That's great. So what kind of dirt it is? Is it kind of like a clay? Is it loamy?
It's an unbelievable. It's mostly clay, but there is a deceiving amount of sand.
Oh, wow!
It's not a sand track. It's not a sand track by any means whatsoever. But there's just enough sand in it
Are you in like a river bottom area, or what's going on with that?
We have a creek. Nothing like the rest, but we have a creek. It's probably 300 or 400 feet below the big track. So we took the woods. This is like 10, 15, 20 acres of woods where they were at the bottom of the farm field, and all that good farm fertilizer and stuff just kept washing down in those areas, and basically cleared all that out and built the track.
Wow, man, that does sound pretty prime, man. I know the kind of dirt you're talking.
7 or 8 weeks of clearing. So yeah, I think most people will be pretty happy with the dirt.
Yeah, that's great. Now that I know the kind of dirt you're talking about there, and I've seen it, and I know. Now, is there a lot of rock or anything like that in it?
There ain't a rock. If you find a rock, somebody brought it in and dropped it off.
Wow.
No rocks.
Wow, that is so awesome. Now a little bit about what about you yourself personally? I mean, you built the track, but what's your background, man?
Motocross. I work during the day at a civil design firm. And we it's pretty much my 40-hour job. And then I do this through the evenings and weekends. I don't know. I just grew up riding, racing. And
what did you ride? What did you race?
I started off riding bikes a little bit as a kid, and then got into the quads and just kind of did a little bit of both. And I took a break there in high school and college to play football. And then I come back to it after college was pretty much done and started racing 250Rs about 97, I think.
Wow.
So I've just kind of kept riding, kept doing the thing.
So you're kind of an ATV guy then, I guess.
No, I definitely am. I don't know if this is a factor or not. I'd have to check. Donnie Banks might be the only guy that could come close to what I might be claiming here, but I'm pretty sure I may be the first promoter to race as a national.
Wow.
I'm thinking Donnie might be the only guy that could have came close to doing that. I don't think any of the other promoters that we've had in the past or current, I don't think any of them even ride.
Right. Donnie was an extremely talented three-wheeler racer, actually, as a matter of fact. And man, that guy, incredible track builder, incredible promoter, and so that's great. So that obviously you do have some sympathies and some ideas of what a true ATV track should consist of, then, I suppose.
Oh, that's for sure. I'm not saying I'm a perfect track builder or the greatest or an ATV track builder or whatever, but I do have some pretty good insight as to what it takes and what the guys are looking for. I've been speaking with some of the pros here and there, getting their input, what they think, and kind of I take in everybody's words and considerations, and then I got to rattle it through my brain and figure out what we want to do. So, but yeah, I definitely have some insight as to what guys are looking for in terms of a good ATV track.
Great. I'm super excited just from that standpoint of things to see what the Built Ford Tough Ohio National is going to have to offer, let alone the Ohio Crew Quad Fest coming up. The date on that is, what is that, May 10th, right?
Yeah, we're doing Saturday, May 10th, and we were actually doing a private school on Sunday with Tyler Josh Upperman and Tim Detling from Ohio here teaching that. But I think we're going to have some open practice on Sunday, too, because it sounds like we got quite a few people traveling at a significant distance. I'd hate for them to drive 6, 7, 8 hours and only get a ride one day.
Right.
So we're probably going to expand that to some practice on Sunday. We'll probably might have to push it back till noon to get the school a little bit more wrapped up. But yeah, it's going to probably be a 2-day ride.
That is awesome. That is truly awesome, man. I think that's a true opportunity for these guys to that have never been there. Number one, get to go ride and not really be under any pressure, and at the same time get to go ride where they're going to get a ride here in a few months at a national event. And I think that is just a spectacular opportunity for folks. I hope that they can take advantage of that. Real quick, tell me the information. Where can we get information for that?
The best place to get information for Briarcliff in general is at our website, which is Briarcliff MX.com. And then we also on our Facebook page, which is pretty much the same name.
Great. And so you can get all the details and information there. And that, again, is not only on the upcoming Built Ford Tough Ohio National and the Crew Fest, but just in general about what Briarcliff MX is all about. So that's pretty cool. Now, Jeremy, let's continue to talk a little bit more. I'm really intrigued with what we've got going on here facility-wise. We've talked a little bit about the track, how it's designed, the layout, the kind of jumps and things of that nature. The soil seems I'm chomping at the bit. You know, I'm not even a racer, and I am dying to get out there and ride it, and I haven't even seen it yet, but I know the kind of soil you're talking about, the perfection of it and everything. What about the facility itself? It says trails. The UTVs trails are going to be open and things like that. Tell me a little bit about the trail system. What does that consist of? How many acres are you guys on?
The whole facility sits on about 140 acres. The trail loop probably absorbs 30, 40 acres, I would guess. You know, the facility is still fairly young. We're getting ready to drill a water well to provide potable water to the racers, and we'll probably, if we get enough water out of that well, we'll probably just go ahead and make that like their water source for power wash and everything. As a matter of fact, I called my well guy Thursday. We're getting ready to do the test well here in a couple of weeks, so we'll get that going. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of dirt. Other than that, you know, there's a lot of dirt. It's a lot like any other track. You know, it's just big parking areas and track, and you know, we don't have any hookups yet. We haven't gotten that far with it, but it's definitely on our mind at some point.
So, surrounding areas, what are we talking about as far as the surrounding areas? There are some cool things that we could probably do on the way in, on the way out. I mean, it is going to be summertime and such.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to come in early, we have a lot of that stuff on the ATV National page on our website. There's a map at the bottom that has not only your gas stations and your grocery stores and where to get this, where to get that, restaurants, but there's a few things kind of in the area that I think is cool. I've been there and done them. There's some zip line stuff at the place called the Wilds in Zanesville, which is really cool. I mean, anybody that's racing probably would be into it. I can't imagine them not being.
How far away is that from Zanesville?
Oh, from Zanesville, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's not far from Zanesville. We're about 20 minutes from Zanesville.
Oh.
You could get to the Wilds. Yeah, you could get to the Wilds in about 35, 40 minutes, roughly.
Wow, man, you are actually a lot closer to me than I realized, Jeremy.
Yeah, probably.
So that's one thing. The zip line's the one thing going on. Anything else that would be?
I tell you, for all the moms and all the girlfriends, we are 40 minutes from a place called Easton and Polaris. you want to talk about shopping. I mean, I don't like shopping, but I do have a wife, so I know about shopping. And it is a shopping mecca. There's so much going on there. I mean, you literally, the guys could come to the track and do whatever, and then if the ladies wanted to go, say on practice day Friday, and go to Easton or Polaris, they may not even come back to the track. We might lose them. They might just stay over there. So
I didn't realize how close to Columbus and Zanesville and all that you were. I truly apologize for never making it there to Briarcliff, but you got to understand I got a pretty busy schedule, man. But I am super excited and pumped to get up in that area, and I know that is a huge rider base where you're at too. We should probably see a good number of local ATV racers, I think, show up to the Ohio National itself. Probably about every one of them.
I believe so. We don't get amazing numbers for our local OMA races, but we'll see 30, 40, maybe 50 entries locally for ATV racing or for our motocross races, and I would believe that if all of them don't come to race, they'll be here to watch.
Wow.
I guarantee it.
You know what's pretty amazing to me about that is that I recall. We used to do a lot of the. I worked with the Ohio County Fairs Motocross Championship when Tab Thompson owned it back in the early and mid '90s and late '90s and stuff. And I remember up around that area, Newark and those places around Hilliard and Circleville. I mean, we used to have a huge number of ATV riders show up. Even in MacArthur at the home base, I mean, we used to get some pretty good ATV races. I remember 25 and 30 quads back then, so it doesn't surprise me to see 30 ATVs out there, especially with the way things are going now. And I expect, knowing how closely knit Ohio ATV racing is, I expect a lot of those guys to show up. Here's my plea to the Ohio ATV racers, because I know when we had the National in Ohio over at Sunday Creek, just outside of Athens, we didn't have a huge rider turnout. I mean, we had a pretty decent spectator turnout, but in order to make this feasible for the promoter, you, Jeremy, and for the series and everything involved, we need all that local rider support that we can get. So we don't need just people coming out to watch. I mean, we need that, don't get me wrong, but what you need, Jeremy, is for those riders to grab their buddies and come out and try racing the National ATV event, because I mean, it's probably not as far over their head as what they may think or feel. They might be a lot more competitive than what they realize.
Yeah, I think Sunday Creek, I raced the first one, and I think it was an 11. I was surprised that there weren't more Ohio guys there. I was actually kind of surprised there weren't more riders there, period. But that's neither here nor there with us. But I think I'm actually looking at it a little differently. I think get riders. We're pretty well known in Ohio for what we do. I'm more focused on spectators. I think the riders will come. It's just kind of the way it works around here.
I like that. I like that confidence. The way you said that, Jeremy, that gave me so much confidence right there with what this is. That's good. Keep going.
Yeah, well, that's just. I mean, I'm being honest. If I thought we were okay at it, I'd say, well, we'll see how it goes. But that's not the case. We're going to draw a big number. But the spectators, that's where I'd like to prove myself. I want to see a throng of people. I want to fill our infields. I want it to look like there's just people everywhere. That's more of my challenge. We've got advertising packages on a local country station called T100, which is huge in Central Ohio. I can drive sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours across Ohio and pick it up. It's everywhere. So, that's kind of where all my focus is with all my marketing efforts and advertising that we're doing, ticket giveaways, that kind of thing. It's spectators. That's where we want to be.
I think, and I imagine you're probably going to be successful at it as well, Jeremy. I like it because there's so much passion in it for you from every aspect of it, from a promoter's side of it, as well as a rider's side of it. I mean, you've got the full ticket, as far as I'm concerned, to make this as about a huge success as could be.
Well, I think that's the greatest strength I have is people see that, you know, what I'm doing and why I want to do it, and they just can't not help but want to help us do stuff. And we are kind of an army. I mean, we had so many volunteers that come and help, and people that just call me up out of the blue. Hey, send me some flyers. I want to put them everywhere. And you know, it's just one of them things that it's you know, people see you doing good things and they want to do good things, so they want to help you. And then you just the Briarcliff effect. It just keeps going.
Right.
You know.
Sounds
so
like you got good. I mean, with what I've seen on your website, as far as the sponsorship and stuff, you've got nice sponsors, a good list of sponsors. Looks like you got some good community support there, you know, because some of those look like they might be local to you. And if you've got that kind of support, then yeah, man, I mean, everything's going golden there. I really am super excited. I can't wait to see what Briarcliff has to offer, and I'm really bumming that I can't make it to the Ohio Crew Quad Fest, but at the same time, you know, I know that the anticipation is going to be well worth the wait when the Built Ford Tough Ohio National comes to town. That weekend is again, what's the date on that again?
June 14th and 15th for the National.
June 14th and 15th. And man, I'm pumped for you, Jeremy. I know that Brittany from over at the Ohio Crew, she keeps telling me about how great a guy you are and how much passion that you show. And she goes, "You're going to be amazed. You're going to be blown away by this guy." And I was like, "Okay, I'm super excited about talking with him." And yeah, I'm really glad to have been able to have spoken with you. I only wish that we could have gotten on a little sooner to maybe pump it up a little bit, but at the same time, maybe we don't need too much on next weekend as we need coming up in on June 15th and 16th.
Yeah, for sure. That Father's Day weekend is going to be huge. We got some things planned for after the races, Friday and Saturday. One thing in particular on Saturday I'm kind of really excited about is UTV racing. We'll probably have some limited class UTV racing going on Saturday night before it gets dark, obviously. But one thing I'm really kind of pumped about, because we're going to have like a father-son class. So because it's Father's Day, you know, have like a father-son class. We'll have an open class. I think that's kind of a future deal there. And UTVs are getting bigger and bigger each year, and you know, I'm pretty excited about being able to have something to do after the racing. So.
Yep. That sounds pretty exciting, yeah. And I said 15th and 16th. That's June 14th and 15th. That'll be Friday the 13th for the guys rolling in to go practice on there. So, man, I like that. I didn't
even realize that was a Friday the 13th till now.
You know, here's the great thing about that, man. You know, that's for me. The Friday the 13th is a good omen, and black cats are good omens and all that stuff. So that to me just got me super pumped and super excited. So I cannot wait to see what the Built Ford Tough Ohio National has to offer us, man. I mean, Jeremy, I want to thank you for coming on board and speaking with us today. I don't know if there's anything else you want to pass along to the folks or not. If there is, go ahead and maybe we can talk again before the National gets here, and we can talk about some of the great things going on leading up to it.
Yeah, as we get closer, I'd be more than happy to give you an update. You know, right now we're kind of got some ideas, like with the UTV thing we just mentioned, but probably getting closer to 3 or 4 weeks out, we'll have a much more solid plan of, hey, this is happening and that's happening, and we can give you a little update on how it's coming along.
All righty, man. Sounds good. And again, just thanks for coming on board, and good luck with the Ohio Crew Quad Fest coming up next weekend. That's let me get my calendar back out here. That will be May 10th and 11th, actually, because you have extended that to the Saturday for those folks traveling, and we just want to let folks know that and be well aware of that. So just get a hold of Jeremy. If you want to know more, you got through the website, all the details, all the information there. You guys got Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff going on too?
Oh, yeah. And if you go to our social media page, it's a tab on top of Briarcliff's site. You can go right to our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, all that stuff.
All right. Sounds great, man. Sounds absolutely great. Well, we appreciate, again, like we said, the time you took to talk with us. We appreciate what you're doing for ATV racing. And that's going to do it for this episode of Quad Radio. On behalf of Jeremy Red Osborn and all the great folks in the ATV racing nation out here, I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio.